All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Risoli Nations men's Zoom call. I am Peter O'Brien, and along with my wife, Dinah O'Brien, we are area managers and independent consultants, and we do, in fact, work our business together. We do all our presentations together. I do the business part and the company part, and she does the products, and she loves the products, and I love the business, so it works out real well. And tonight we have a special guest that I'll introduce in just a minute. And I love introducing our special guests because, quite frankly, we've had some great guests on here. Gosh, Clark Harrison, Luke Huntington was just on a couple weeks ago, Bill Taub, Trevor Cavelli, Chris Weilert, Mark Hayford will be joining us again the first of the year. If you've never heard Mark speak, he's phenomenal. Next week we have Duck Pham, who will be calling in from Australia. So we'll be here on Tuesday night. He'll be on Wednesday afternoon or something like that. So look forward to that. And yeah, so I love the guests that we have on, and I just love doing this call because although we really don't know each other on this call, we really all come here for the same reasons. We have the same values. We have the same goals. The bottom line is we all want time and money freedom for ourselves, for our families. We all want to create our own lives, a more meaningful life, and we want to do it and help others do it as well, which is really what makes you successful here at Arbonne. And again, what I love about this call is that when you're surrounded by people that believe what you believe, there's just more power to what we do. And that's what I hope you get from our calls and from tonight is that you'll know that there is a powerful business model here. The opportunity is limitless. And there's something in it for everybody and anyone on this call. So I hope you feel that power tonight, whether you're here as a guest and just looking at us, looking at our business model, doing your own due diligence, if you will, whether you're here to support someone, a spouse or a significant other that's in the business, or whether you are in the business and looking to grow your teams. I think you'll get a lot from our speaker tonight. And Bobby, I'm not going to go to your last name. I think it's just Akinbobye, but I will allow you.
That's actually right. I'm
okay,
very impressed.
Good. Well, we hadn't
get that right.
We hadn't talked about it before, so I was a little scared. But it's actually pretty easy. And I know Claire is incredibly impressed with you. She knows you very well. I know she's very excited to have you on the call tonight. So with that, let me turn it over to you and say welcome again and thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks a lot, Pete. I appreciate that. Hi, my name is Babatunde Akinbobye. Everyone calls me Bobby for obvious reasons. Once again, I'm really impressed that you got my last name right. It really took me a while. Oh, it took me a while to get that right. So, but yeah. Well, I am an independent consultant and a district manager with Arbonne. Besides Arbonne, or I guess before Arbonne found me, I think that's accurate. I'll explain in a second. I earn most of my money as an opera singer. I'm also a yoga instructor, but mostly opera is my main thrust. And yeah, it sounds opera. Being an opera singer always feels really good to say. Feels really cool, and it looks great on Facebook. However, the problem with it's a lot of constant hustle, and it's a lot like many other starving artists' stories, where the money is great sometimes. It's feast or famine. And you live like a prince some months, and other months, yeah, it's not so good. And my career has been getting better and better, and it's better than it ever has been. But it's still, some months my wife and I have trouble making ends meet. And so, but I told myself from a young age that I did not want to work a regular job, because I saw many adults doing the whole Sunday night thing, like, oh crap, I have to go to work tomorrow. And, you know, it was an ongoing joke. And I would think, you know, that's not funny. Why are all of you doing this? How come none of you have figured out a way not to do this? And so when I found out about how much I enjoy singing, I said, all right, that's it. This is what I want to do, because, you know, the idea is like you'll never have to work a day in your life. And I figured if I worked hard and became a good opera singer, I would make it to the Metropolitan Opera and I would just coast and everything would be good. And then, so I pursued it actively. I went to school, got my degree, and started working as an opera singer and climbing the ladder. And one day I had a gig with a gentleman who had sung in the Metropolitan Opera for a long time. And to me, that was like, you in the United States, make it to the Met, you've made it. And so I asked him, I said, okay, afterwards, I asked him, what am I doing on the same stage as you? And he starts laughing. He says, oh, you assumed you make it to the Met. You made it. It's like, no, it doesn't stop. The hustle, the auditioning, that goes on forever. And he says, you know, I'm 50 now and I'm still auditioning. And I realized I kind of had a misconception about this career field, which I feel like more and more of us are doing in different career fields. It's not turning out to be, the retirement plan is not exactly what we were told in the beginning. And, you know, that was a huge shifting point for me, because I realized I love singing, but with many artists, I know in our band, there are a lot of us who are musicians or artists of one shape or the other, or affiliated with art. When you start doing it for money, it sucks the joy, it kind of kills it for you. And, you know, some gigs are better than others. It's fun, but when you're doing work you don't really want to do because you need the money, it's not the way, it's not what many of us have set out to do when we decide to do art for our living. And so I started, you know, I talked with my wife, and we needed an exit plan. We needed something else, because I immediately decided I could not continue to do this if there was no light at the end of the tunnel. You know, there was no coasting period. And so I started reading tons and tons of books about passive income and investing and so on and so forth. So I read all the greats, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Mindset, you know, you name it, I probably read it. Richest Man in Babylon is one of my favorites. And so now, going back a little bit, you mentioned Clark Harrison earlier. Clark is my direct sponsor. He's the one who first introduced me to Arbonne. And we sang in, I don't know if people know this, but we sang in choir together in college. Clark was a choir boy with me. And you know, I knew him in college, and he was kind of like, I was like, this guy's not even going to finish college. Like, you know, he was just like, it was just Clark. It's funny, because the Clark you know is a completely different guy than who I knew. But so we fell out of touch when I finished college, you know. And I know he was in Glendale. I live in Glendale now, and he was working Pilates. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I'm going to be a yoga teacher. And, you know, we're both in the music industry. It's just kind of similar paths. But we lost touch. And like a few years later, he messaged me something online about Arbonne. And I was like, what is this? And it was back when Facebook didn't tell the other person you saw the message. So it's much easier to ignore it. And so I did. And then, so years go by, and I see more posts of his. And I think he posted that he was reading some book that I had read. I don't know if it was one of the money books. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I started looking through his page, and like he mentioned a few times about like financial freedom and so on. And he looked like he was living well. I was like, you know what? I'm following his post, because I want to see more of that on my newsfeed. And so it resulted in me pretty much liking every single thing he posted. So one day, and I knew he was still doing this Arbonne thing, but I was like, it's not for me, because it's like, I'm not this network marketing. No, I sold knives when I was younger. I'm too old for that now. I know better. And so he messaged me, and I was like, oh, crap, he messaged me. And he's like, he's going to talk to me about the Arbonne thing. I know it. And he's like, hey, how you doing? And, you know, just chatted me up. And then eventually he was like, you liked a lot of things I posted. And he started talking about some mutual book we read. And then he said, well, did you want to know a little bit about what it is I'm doing? I said, no, I know you're doing the Arbonne thing, but it's really not for me. And he did something that I'm still learning to do. He stayed quiet. And then I waited, and I was like, I say it's not for me, knowing pretty much nothing about it. Okay, tell me a little bit about it. I'll hear what you have to say. And so he tells me a little bit about it. And what he tells me, well, I understand we have some visitors here, so I'll tell you a little bit about about the same stuff he told me. So Arbonne is a 36-year-old company, and it's does about, it's a $520 million, it's about $500 million company. And the products are ultra premium quality, but it's because of the business model, they sell it at entry-level department store prices. And the business model I'll get to in a second. One of my favorite things about the company right now is that they've been around since, for 36 years, and they're just starting to globalize, which for me, and luckily because of the trainings I've gone to and the books I've read, it kind of gave it a little weight to me, and it seemed a little bit more big boy, if you will, or big girl. Apologize. Than I originally thought. And so the fact that they waited as long to start globalizing, I was like, oh, okay, they're serious. And so now we're in 7 countries: the United States, New Zealand, United States, New Zealand, Poland, Australia, Canada, Taiwan, and there's one I'm forgetting.
UK.
And the UK, that's right, and UK. But as of last month, we just got to Taiwan. And so our founder, Peter Mork, was a Norwegian botanist, and he just wanted safer products for himself and his family. And the upside about being a botanist, he can just make it. And so he got started and did it on his own. And the company's been doing very well. Our CEO is Kay Napier, who was with Procter & Gamble for a while. But what stuck to me is she was the woman when McDonald's went through the Supersize Me incident, where everything plummeted because of the documentary. She was the one who stepped in and introduced the healthy menu and kind of saved McDonald's. And then Dr. Peter Matravers, he is the Senior VP of Research and Development. He comes from an Ayurvedic background, which was, as a yogi, was really important. That caught my ear. I was like, oh, okay, because the ethics behind Ayurveda. I was like, okay, all right, I can. And he's the head, and he's like the Senior VP of Research and Development. Okay, I'm listening. And he was formerly with Aveda. So our parentage, if you will, the people running the show are really, really, really good people. And as I said, the business model for this is network marketing, and that, for me, as I think with most people, kind of like a red flag went off. I was like, I've heard about pyramid schemes and stuff like that. And the way Clark explained it to me, he says, network marketing is something we do all the time. For example, we just had a Shake Shack open. It's a burger place open down the street from me. And I went there for the first time, and it was amazing. And I could not shut up about it. I'm talking to all my friends about it. Now, if Shake Shack decided, like, hey, instead of putting money into advertising and marketing, we'll just give you a percentage of everyone you send there. That's, obviously I would do it because I'm already doing it for free. But that model of doing it is network marketing. I'm marketing to my network, and that's what network marketing is. So as soon as I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, got it. Yeah, that makes complete sense. Now, as far as network marketing companies go, we're in the top 20 of network marketings, and other thing that's great about network marketing, a good network marketing company, is for me, it creates the opportunity for residual income and time leverage, which was extremely important for me because I still like singing, but I want to do it in a way where I love it, and it can't be about music anymore. However, so as in the interest of, I need money to live, taking part in a company like this creates an opportunity for me to be able to earn money and still pursue my art in a way that doesn't suck the joy out of it for me, which was a dream. Now, Arbonne has over 325 products, and what makes Arbonne special is the ingredient policy. Our products are formulated to Swiss standards. Now, in the European Union, what that means is in the European Union, there are over 1,300 ingredients that are just not allowed. They're completely banned from all of their products. Whereas in the United States, we have 12 or 13, about 12 that are banned. And that number was updated recently because Johnson & Johnson finally got busted for their No Tears baby shampoo because they had 2 ingredients in there that mix and created formaldehyde, which numbs your baby's tears, your tear ducts, which is why they didn't cry. Isn't that great? So yeah, but that's how a lot of our products are in the United States. Over there they have to prove it's safe for them to put the ingredients in. Over here we have to prove by going to court and finally and winning the case that it's unsafe for the ingredients to be taken out. And why that's important is because your skin is your largest organ on your body. Now, what goes onto your skin goes into your bloodstream, and it bypasses the liver and the kidney, which usually filter out all the stuff you don't want in your bloodstream. And that's particularly why nicotine patches work, birth control patches, and other dermal methods of administering medicine work so well. And that's just the fact about it. Now, another thing that's great about Arbonne is last year they paid out about $243 million to its consultants. Now, bear in mind, this is a $520 million company, and last year they paid $243 million of that to the consultants as a thank you. Hey, you told some people about it, and they bought it, and they like it. Thank you. Here's some money. I was just like, how do you beat that? And so he explained, like, this is how the company works. And I was like, okay, it sounds great, but I don't know like a lot about skin. I'm not a products guy. I shower, but I don't use makeup, and I obviously don't use hair gel and stuff like that. And so I'm not a big fan of eye cream. And he says, well, you shower, do you shave? I was saying, oh yeah, I do. You brush your teeth? Yeah. Do you wear deodorant? And I was like, okay, I get it. There's some products I use. And he says, all you have to do is just stop using the stuff you're using now. I was like, that's already done. And now that I know this information, just ignoring it, why would I do that? So stop using the stuff you use now, switch over to Arbonne and tell people about it. And I was like, okay, that's simple enough. And I started using it. And this is one thing that was really interesting for me, because I think a lot of us come from, grew up with like the scarcity mentality. And especially if any of us have kind of gone through college, we did the whole college dorm room eating ramen noodles thing, buying like the cheaper products. And, we grow up, we graduate, we get real jobs, we start buying better quality food. But some things like the products we use don't really change that much. We kind of still hang on to these old, cheap deodorants or bath soaps or body washes and so on and so forth. And we just keep using the same stuff over and over and over. We never think to try something better. So I didn't know there were products of this level of quality available. I remember the first day I got the Sky Bar men's soap, and I used it, and it was just like lathered all over the place. I was just like, they make soap like this? Like what is this? And it seems silly, but and one product after the next, I was just like, I didn't know there was a tier system for skincare products. So using nicer stuff. And, I feel I'm 32 years old. I like to tell myself, I want to start, I'm an adult now. I'm going to start using adult things and eating adult food and so on and so forth. And so the idea that I was still, long story short, I wanted to step my products game up. And so I did. And so I was like, yes, thanks for telling me about this. So I started using it, and I started telling friends about it, especially that soap. The way I just talked about it right now, I was calling my friends. I was like, you got to try this soap. Come over, you're taking a shower. And they're like, what? Just come over. And, but yeah, it's really simple. Now, I've been with the company for a little over 3 months now. And I promoted to the first of the 4 levels of promotion in the company. I've promoted to the first level of promotion, the first promotion level. And I realized that, and Clark explained it to me that if you can make it to the first level, you can make it to the top of the company, because you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and it's happening. Why that's significant to me is because one thing I was nervous about was the time requirement, because that's one of the reasons I used to work with for the Cheesecake Factory for a long time. And I had to quit because they required me to be there a certain amount of time, and my time is extremely important to me in the sense that I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. That was a severe headache for my mom, but it's been the story. It's been the way I've been my entire life. I only do what I want to do when I want to do it. And, you know, if I have to do something, but my time is really important to me. And so I explained to him when he was talking to me about it, I said, look, I'm going to be really busy. I'm going out of town for 7 months, and I have 2 operas to do that I haven't finished learning yet. I'm going to be doing them simultaneously. So there's like 3-hour drive in between every single day. And it's like, I don't have time. He says, you're talking to me right now. Lets me know you have enough time to do this business. I was like, are you serious? And I figured 2 things. One, I know him personally. Like, I knew him when he was broke. And so he has a little more to risk by lying to me because I can find him. And 2, he's honest. He's just an honest guy. And a lot of what he was saying to me, it was just really upfront. And I was like, okay, if this is too good to be true, what will it cost me? And he explained to become a consultant, you pay the $79 and buy some products for yourself. Worst case scenario, I'm full of crap, you're out $79. And I was like, okay, even I can swing that. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll give it a shot. So I'll try it. I was like, this better be what you said. And I've been doing this for a little over 3 months, and I'm still waiting for the catch. It's pretty much exactly. So whoever invited you to watch this, whatever they're telling you is the truth. And I know that because there isn't anything to hide. That's the thing. I've been doing this for a while, and I've been like, I've looked under the hood, and I realized like, oh, okay. All right, this is pretty much on the up and up, which makes sense that the business has been around for 36 years, and it's pretty much run by us. So if there's something under the hood we don't like, the company's not going to stay around for that. It's just not going to work. It's not sustainable in that way. So one of the things I did find looking under the hood that surprised me were the amount of people who are already successful. And no offense for the quotes, but I mean, the people with 401ks and IRAs, with real jobs, with real careers, who had families and houses and cars and the amount of people of that demographic and that group who were starting this business or who had been doing it or who decided to do it from there, it let me know that, okay, this is not what I was thinking it was at all. No, this is real. This is serious stuff. There's real serious money here. And so, and I completely dove in. So that's what Clark told me over the phone. And so I gave it a shot, and so far it's been exactly what he said. And it's been one of the better decisions I've made. It's funny how starting something like this, I'm only 3 months in, but I'm so much more excited for the rest of my life now. Whereas I didn't realize there was this feeling of dread before. Like, the next year is coming. I've never been so excited for a new year as I am now, which is funny to me. But the reason is I realized that I've pretty much been living the same year over and over, which I think is true for many of us. We just keep doing the same thing. And, we have hopes and dreams of like, oh, I want to have a big house. I want to have a huge family, white picket fence, a dog, 2.5 kids, like that's how we think. But for a lot of us, especially from my age, in my age group, we're still working regular jobs for other people. And we're helping them to make their dreams come true. Whereas we don't, if we really look under the hood of what we're doing right now, it actually gets harder. Each year gets harder than the last year. And so what really, really pushed me over the edge, it wasn't a lot of pushing, it was just a lot of thinking on my end. I realized that what I kind of had hoped for was a situation where someone who was living the kind of life I wanted to live, I would find him and know him personally or get to know him, and he would show me how to do exactly what he's doing. And you know how there's a saying, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. I think that's kind of that's kind of how that happened with Clark, because Clark is executive regional vice president. So for those of you who were visitors, means he's promoted 3 out of the 4 times in the company. So Clark, you probably, I don't care if he knows. So he's making about 5 figures roughly a month. And for where I am now, if I made that kind of money, like, and my wife and I have been really good at creating a life where we're living comfortable with very little. If I was making that kind of money for me where I am now, like 90% of my problems would be gone, just evaporated like that in 1 month. And what's interesting is, actually, I'll get there in a second. And so he was already living a life that was a dream to me. I couldn't really wrap my head around making that kind of money from where I am right now. And so he was like, and he's going to show me how to do this. And that's another thing about the network marketing business model that's fantastic. You can be successful in your spare time and create a life that you probably didn't have the option to do. And you're even more likely to get there if you help someone else become successful and create the life that they want for themselves, which is great. So in a way, the pessimist saw this and was like, oh, so he's financially motivated to help me be successful. That's fantastic. That's brilliant. All right, I'm in. So there was that. And also the fact that knowing what I know now, that there's something like this out there, and something like this out there that can finally give me the life that I want within the next 5 years, probably beforehand, because I'm a little aggressive. And as soon as I found out about this, I dove in hook, line, and sinker. There were things, like I fulfilled my obligations with those operas. Wasn't my best work because my mind was like, no, this isn't more important to me now. And so I threw myself in, because once I know that there's something like this that can give me the life I want, why would I say no to this? Like, there was no downside. It works. It's been working for 36 years. There's someone who has done it, who will take me by the hand and show me how to do what he did without making the mistakes he made. And then on the other hand, with the products alone, I know the danger and for instance, parabens is something that's in all of our products, and it's been directly linked to breast cancer, and the same way cigarettes have been linked to lung cancer. Knowing this stuff now, and this is kind of the way I talk to myself sometimes, is a little harsh, but I was like, if I know about this business model, and I know about the danger with these products, and I decide to no, I'm just going to keep doing I'm just going to keep using what I've been using. I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. I deserve whatever happens to me, down the road. And because at that point, no, seriously, what? Who says no to this? Who looks at this information and fact checks it, because I did, and it's solid and it holds up, and then says, no, I'm going to keep using what I've been using. I'm just going to go back to my job. I like my job. It's not a bad job as far as jobs go. It's just and yeah, if I did that, I deserve exactly the future I had for myself, and I couldn't do that. So I've been doing this for 3 months now, and I'm in. I'm all the way in. And if you're on the fence, dive in. Just do it. And if it's wrong, then change your mind. Don't do it. Don't change your mind now. And I know, I get it. It's a little scary, because I look back, I saw Clark was clearly living a life that I wanted, and he was doing this Arbonne thing. So I knew, okay, this is the life I want, and this is how he was doing it. And I know someone who was doing it, and it still took him talking to me and explaining it all for me to, and that's one thing I'm really grateful we have the men's Zoom call, because I feel, in my experience talking to my friends, my women friends and my male friends, I find men are a little more stubborn as far as information. We want to look under the hood, we want to take it apart, we want to put it back together, we want to drive it for a while, we want to own it, and don't hold yourself back, guys. If you're a visitor and you're thinking about this, dive in. What is it really going to cost you? $79. Almost every single one of us have blown $79 on something we don't even remember right now. Dive in and give this a shot. Worst case scenario, you'll be where you are now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But now I understand why Claire is so excited, and Clark, I obviously know Clark real well. Well, they're excited. But if you're a guest with us tonight, that's the business. That's it right there. There's no wondering about what to do, how to do it. You just do exactly what Bobby just did right there and just tell all your friends, you know, kind of like you were talking earlier with Shake Shack. You know, you just tell everybody, hey, this, and share that information. And to your point, you know, not everybody's going to do it. I don't understand it. You get this information and then you decide, no, you decide poison over pure, safe, and beneficial. I mean, to me, that just is beyond what I can comprehend. But you know, it's not for everybody. But what I will tell you, Bobby, what you know, you said you're all in this business, and I'm going to just turn it around and hopefully pay the compliment to you and say to you that this business is in you. And it's just now bringing you out, and you know that on stage, you feel that on stage. Okay, this business will bring you out to other people in other ways, but in similar ways to what you do on stage. And I just think it's awesome. Do you want to do the 4 levels? Because we talked about district level, which is, you know, where you're at. You want to just touch real quickly on the other 3?
Sure, no problem. So district manager is the first level of promotion. It usually takes an average about 1 to 5 months to get there. I did it in 2.5 months while I was out of town. I wasn't around anyone I knew, and I was busy doing like 2 shows. And just to give you an idea what that is, my rehearsal schedule is from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. with an hour break in between. So some people feel like they're busy. It can be done in the nooks and crannies because I did it in 2.5 months. So the average to get to district manager is 1 to 5 months. And the average pay for that is around $200 to $1,000 a month. Now the next level of promotion is area manager. Now at this point, your business becomes willable because I don't have any children, but if I had children and God forbid something happens to me, the people I've talked to about this business are going to keep showering, and they're going to keep wearing deodorant, and they're going to keep getting more because that's what we do. Now that money, the company is still going to send the check to me, and once I hit the second level promotion, I can will that check and go to my child until they're 18, and they can decide, oh, I want to keep building the business. And, you know, that's how that works. So the average time to get there is 5 to 11 months, and it's the average income is about $1,000 to $3,500 a month. So to put it in real life perspective, think about what you would do if you had an extra $3,500 this month because a year ago or 7 months ago you decided to like start using other products and tell your friends about it. Like, just, you know, is that a car payment for you? Is that, you just think about tangibly what that would be in your life. Now, the next level of promotion is regional vice president. For a lot of people, it's coming in new. It's the one that catches our eyes. I call it the Benz promotion because at this point, if you decide to get a white Mercedes-Benz, the company will give you an $800 car bonus. So if you decide to get a white Mercedes-Benz, you get an extra $800 every single month to help you pay for that. Whether it costs $800 or not, you know, that's what you're getting to. So you get a free white Mercedes-Benz, which is really, really nice, on top of what you're making that month. And the average income for a regional vice president is $5,000 to $8,000. And it takes about 2 years to get there, more or less, yeah. Now, the top level of promotion is the national vice president. And at this point, your car bonus is $1,000 car bonus for the white Mercedes. And it takes an average about 3 to 5 years to get there. And these are averages. I've heard stories of people getting there in less than a year. And some people take longer, you know, and you get it is a business. It is your business. You get what you put into it. But averagely 3 to 5 years. And the average income as a national vice president is $21,500 a month to infinity. There's no cap on how much you're making. And so I've heard some of the there's a great deal of money to be made doing this. And just to give you an idea, it seems like, 3 to 5 years, that's a long time. But think about this. 5 years is going to happen whether you do this or not. It's going to come. And actually, more to the point, 5 years have already happened. Think about what you've been doing for the last 5 years and where it's gotten you. And starting from now, if you do continue to do what you are doing now, what your life will look like in 5 years. Now, if you're going to be making an extra $25,000 every single month, then cool. You can log off. You can go. You're good. You figured it out. Actually, I want to know what you're doing just in case it's easier than this. But there's a good chance that's not the case. And if that's the case, there's a good chance there's a cap. There's a ceiling. Whereas with this, you know, people are making 6 figures a month, and it's just those checks are just happening every single month in this company. Now, so you know, they say if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you're in a situation like most of us are, where we could use some more money, don't think about it. Just do it. And then correct. And if it's a mistake, which it's not, because it's not, then quit. But decide to quit after. Just dive in and do this.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing else.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Bobby. Really appreciate it, and love meeting you here. And I know we'll see you. Are you going to be able to join us in Las Vegas for our global?
Absolutely.
Good deal. Hopefully, we'll see you before then. There's a couple of other things going on before then, but yeah. So you know, if you're a guest, get back to the person that sent you, you know, here. And this is going to be recorded. It is recorded. I will be posting it. Not only on a couple of the Facebook pages around, but if you're not, don't have access to some of the Facebook pages, you can always go to YouTube, search Risoli Nations Men's Zoom Call. You get to Risoli Nations and it'll come up. But Risoli Nations Men's Zoom Call, and Bobby's will be the first one in there. But then there's a whole series. Like I said, we had some great guests. And of course, join us next week. We have Duck Pham from Australia. Really looking forward to him. He's a dentist, does the business with his wife out in Australia. As Bobby said, this is a global business, and there's no restraining you from going to the countries that we're in right now. You can build it as big and as fast and as wide as you want to. So quite exciting. And so, Bobby, thank you so much for your presentation tonight. And best of luck to you, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to you. And we'll certainly see you soon. And we'll be back here, as Claire always says, same bat time, same bat channel next week with another special guest. So good night, everybody.
Night.
Thanks again, Bobby.